Hey everybody, welcome to Battle Wounds Podcast, and I'm your host, Amos St. John. I am so glad that you're here. Listen. Please be a part of this army. If you're not a part of this Battle Wounds army, subscribe right now. Subscribe, like, follow, share right now. So thank you so much for tuning in. Today is a special day. I have a good, very close friend and brother of mine's. My brother Cory Shaw is in the building. What's up, Cory?
What's going on, Amos?
Listen, man. I'm so glad that you're here and joining my podcast. A lot of people that I'm bringing on here, these are really close friends of mine, and we do a lot of life together, you know.
Absolutely.
And I feel like in this season of my life, I need to share the jewels that I'm surrounded with. You know what I'm saying? These guys are, like Cory, are just full of wisdom, very meek and humble and strong, a man of God, a faithful husband. And specifically for this episode, he's an amazing, very, very well-versed entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
And so we're gonna talk about, taking that leap of faith, leaving the cushy and comfortable and taking that leap into the unknown and becoming an entrepreneur. I know we're in the age where everybody is feeling that nudge to take a leap of faith into the unknown, where, hey, I feel called to leave my corporate cushy job, or I feel the call to leave this and start my own thing, or be a content creator, or be a hairdresser, or be a, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And we are in the age where a lot of people have been successful. They didn't go to school, they didn't go to get certified, they just took that leap of faith, and we are seeing so many countless amount of stories of victories. But we don't hear too much of the stories of the not victories, the losses, which are very common, and actually a lot of people quit even before they get to the point to say that they had a victory. So that's later in the conversation. But I want to welcome to the Battle Wounds podcast stage. I don't know, stage or platform, brother Cory Shaw. Come on, man, let everybody know where you at and who you are, man.
I'm nobody but Cory Shaw. He is giving all the accolades. All right. I'm just very intentional at this season in my life, of being connected with people who are in alignment with my views, my values. There's a lot of bad and negative things going on out in the world. Mm-hmm. I'm not paying attention to that. Yeah. It's now time for the humble and the people who have no hidden motives. We need that platform, and we need to be expressed out into the world.
Powerful.
That's you. This is your platform. Why are we using other people's platform? You know what? Create your own platform.
That's it.
This is the right platform for people who are in alignment with our views and our values.
Yes, sir.
God-fearing people. We're family men. We are men. We are the supporters, the backbone of the household. We believe in creating legacy for our children. Mm-hmm. I'll pause right there. If that is an alignment, if your views and your values are there, I want to be connected with you.
Yes,
Amos,
sir.
He is that guy. I'm super glad I'm connected with you.
Listen, so if you don't know, we're both musicians.
Yes.
That's where we met. We met together in the field, in the music field, and Absolutely. He was in his side and I was on our side, but there was something kindred about us. Mm. And we connected. It didn't take much. When you have that you know what I'm saying? You see somebody from afar, you know what? That's my bro. I don't know him, but that's my bro right there, yo. And that's how it is with Cory.
Absolutely.
I've been in Dallas for 8 years. And I've known you for majority of the 8 years. And so you've witnessed me go through some transitions. My first transition here in Dallas was not the most comfortable, but I transitioned, and I've transitioned so many times then, and you were one of the few I've still remained in contact with, and I'm so appreciative of that. One of our recent conversations last week was such a pivotal conversation, and we'll let you in on that conversation a little bit, because you ain't ready. A lot of y'all ain't ready for what we talked about. But it just reminded me how blessed I am to be surrounded with some good, solid men, like brothers. You know what I'm saying? I'm not in a fraternity. You are. You are.
Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity. Oh, 6!
I'm not getting into that. All right. So I just had to give you space to shout out your bros and stuff. But we're like brothers. You know what I'm saying? And I thank God for you, because it's like, man, I've seen your journey. You watch my journey. I've watched your journey, and I've supported you, because I love to see people take leaps of faith. It excites me. When I saw him take that leap of faith that he'll explain, I was like, oh. Listen, I don't see, listen, let's go. Like, oh, you doing that? Let me join you. Let me jump with you. Like, I'm that kind of brother. Like, I don't want you fitting in the crowd. Like, Cory's not the type of dude that just fits in the crowd. He rather just sits in his corner. Instead of being a part of the crowd, he's just gonna sit in the corner and just do his own thing. I love that about it, because I'm the same way. I'm not going to type of dude to just kind of fit in the crowd, do what everybody else is doing. I want to go against the grain. And when I saw my brother took that specific leap of faith that you'll talk about, I was like, I'm rolling with him. I don't know about y'all. I am rolling with him. Talk about that, man.
I don't think you're ready to hear what I'm about to say.
Come on, brother. Let him know.
Hearing the fact that my movement encouraged you, which I didn't even know about. We had like a pre-session to this session here, but hearing that encouraged you, I think this is going to be shocking. My movement was caused based upon who I saw, I won't say the individual's name, when I saw him take his leap of faith outside of his comfort zone. Then I said, wait a minute. Everybody who I have seen that has branched out of their comfort zone has hit another level. What would that look like for me? By us not taking that leap of faith, we affect so many other things that we don't even realize. What am I talking about? We affect the fact that we are not going to be moving into that next level, but also by me not taking that leap of faith. If we really truly care about society and our bros and others, then guess what? If I didn't take that leap of faith, I didn't even know it, maybe that would have hindered you from taking your leap of faith.
Makes sense.
And by you taking your next step, someone is watching you. Many of the masses are watching you.
That's good.
Our movement is the stepping stone and building block for others around us who we don't even know who's watching us.
That's good.
So my leap of faith came from, I was comfortable in the music realm, but I always told myself that music is not my number one. I love playing music, but it's always been in my heart number two. My number one is business. I love the concept of business, and I was claiming it, business being my number one, even when I didn't even have the business. I didn't have the brick and mortar. I didn't have the finances to label myself as the entrepreneur, but I knew, okay, I can't qualify myself as a business owner, but I know my heart is number one business. I'm ignoring the laughs. I'm ignoring the what business do you have. I'm not associated with them. But those that say, Cory, whatever you're on, I want some of that. So here's what that looks like for me. I moved out of the room. I needed to put my attention into what I saw as a new business opportunity. So me and my wife, we opened up a restaurant, JC's Philly Cheesesteak. How the heck did we open up a restaurant
in Dallas? It's Dallas, Texas.
In Dallas, Texas.
Well, this is a specific area. Is it Carrollton or
Plano, North Dallas?
Yeah. I know now.
When you look at the stoplight, past that stoplight, you're in Plano.
Okay, yeah.
But the city technically is Dallas.
So JC's Philly Cheesesteak
in Dallas.
Philly cheesesteak in Dallas. That's when I saw him. Listen,
right, Philly, right?
I'm not from Philly. I'm from. I lived in Baltimore.
Okay.
Which is like Philly's like next door neighbor.
Gotcha.
And so, but Baltimore has its own cheesesteak, like chicken cheesesteak. Like they into cheesesteaks, not like Philly, but it's their own thing. And so it reminded me of home when I saw that. I was like, oh, I need it. Like for real, let's go. So yeah.
So I knew I wasn't going to be able to continue my path in music. I was traveling all over. If there was a preacher in town, he was calling me. If there was a service, I was there. If there was some kind of concert and they maybe need, you have rehearsals, you have other things that take up your time to put into this. My dream was now opening up my own business. I didn't know what that business was. Let me tell you how that happened. Me and my, at the time, girlfriend, now wife.
Yeah.
We love to eat out. We eat out all the time prior to right now, right? So we was at a chili cheese dog spot in downtown Dallas, and we were starving. I like to eat when I'm hungry. I don't want to snack.
No, I want to go down. Let's go down.
Let's go down.
Let's go.
Hungry.
Yeah.
So we're sitting at the table. The kind waiter comes up to us and she says, "What can I get for you?" And I told her, aside from me knowing that I'm gonna get 6 chili cheese dogs, and she's probably gonna get 5, we got to get something right now. Appetizer, let's go. What's the number one best meal on the appetizer? And she immediately says, Philly cheesesteaks. This is little mini cheesesteaks, and I said, okay, Philly cheesesteaks.
Because Dallas ain't known for Philly cheesesteaks.
Dallas is not known for cheesesteaks. I told her I have not been able to find a good Philly cheesesteak spot here in Dallas.
Yeah.
She said, you'll love it. This is our number one item. Make note of that. This is our number one. That came from her.
Yeah.
She leaves, she comes back, 2 minutes, cheesesteak. My now wife, she takes the first bite. She's a little bit of a picky eater. She immediately spits it out. I'm like, you being extra. She's not. I can eat anything.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm like, Jessica, you being extra. Let me take a bite of cheesesteak. I took a bite. Y'all, I can eat anything. I spit it out.
Listen, I get it, because, man, these sandwiches, man, like, they don't make them right. Like, these cheesesteaks, it takes,
right.
Listen, and you'll explain it, like, because you did your homework.
Absolutely.
You know, before you took that leap of faith, you did your research.
Yes, I did.
But you saw, and I think, is it John Maxwell talks about, you know, in order to really get into your spot, you have to provide a solution to a problem. And I think you recognize the problem.
Absolutely.
And you became the solution.
Absolutely. If you want to start a business, you have to be able to identify the problem. What problem are you solving? If you are able to provide a solution to enough of a problem that is not just one problem to one, but a problem to many, you have likely just identified the beginning and the start of a business.
Wow.
Now the next question is, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to provide that solution? Are you going to take that leap of faith, or are you going to let fear overtake you from doing what you know you need to do?
That fear, we just talked about it a couple of episodes ago, about that fear that is crippling people, the comfort, and for some people that's their reality, but you know, that fear is serious.
It's serious. Something I got from Will Smith. A lot of what I have right now, I had to recognize I'm taking little bits and pieces of everybody to help me get over that hump, and fear was that big hump for me. And I'll get into it here more in a second, but I heard Will Smith say, when you're fearful to do something, just do it afraid.
Do it afraid.
Just do it afraid.
Do it scared, man. Like, that's truth. Like, my recent leap of faith, and for those who follow the podcast, you know, I talked about it. It was not like, oh, I did it confidently. Like, some people are fortunate to take a leap of faith and have a cushy bank account and savings. Right. Like, they got the typical 6 months of whatever.
Yeah.
I ain't no during 6 months of expensive nowhere. Like, I think I only had doing a couple of weeks, maybe a month or two.
Right.
So it was scary.
Absolutely.
But I still did it.
Absolutely. I'm gonna drop a gold mine. Something that I've adopted is, when it comes to fear, I learned to, what if I'm misdiagnosing a particular scenario in life as fear? What if it's not fear? How do I get away from that? What I've done is, I don't label it as fear, because fear, when you think about it, it is something that is protecting us from being hurt or from death. If I take this action, am I going to die? Probably not. So what if watch this? What if I mislabel this action as fear? What I've done is relabel this as nervous, And then nervous, you know what, since I'm nervous, that's what I'm feeling. I'm not feeling fear. I'm nervous. And then what if we tip it a little bit more and say, this nervous, I'm just excited. Why am I excited? Because I don't know what's going to happen. Yep. Isn't it interesting? Well, I'm fearful. Why? Because I don't know what's going to happen. Great. I'm nervous because I don't know what's going to happen. I'm excited. Let's go, Cory.
Reframe.
Reframe it.
You reframed it. You took the power away from the actual word, and then you replaced it with a more life-giving word. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because sometimes we give power to things that don't deserve the power. It does not deserve the fuel. And so fear, when people give the acronym false evidence appearing real, the last two words, appear, it appears real. It doesn't mean it appears as real. It's false evidence appearing real. So once you learn to realize that, okay, whatever you have that's appearing that's causing fear, 9.9999999%, it ain't real.
It's not real.
Replace it, reframe it with something. And that's what I've learned to do in this journey of this recent leap of faith I've been taking, is that replacing, whenever I get a little bit of anxiety or a little fear, I replace it with something like, all right, what are you looking forward to?
Absolutely.
Don't look at don't look at the circumstance, look at the promised land. Like, absolutely. Replace the current circumstance, the current hurdle that you're in, and envision that finish line. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, and every time I see I look at instead of, because as a hurdler, I've never done hurdles. They tell you don't focus on the hurdle, just keep going. Like, you've done enough preparation to know, you know what I'm saying, to have the instincts to know when to jump and have the speed and all you're focusing on is getting to the finish line. Don't look at the hurdle ahead of you. You can leap over it once you just believe.
Absolutely.
So, you know what I'm saying? But some people, once you focus on that hurdle, you end up tripping over it.
And you said something powerful. You believe. Because watch this. My question that I would pose, what do you believe? If you believe you can't, then guess what? You can't.
Yeah. Listen,
if you believe you can,
that part.
Then you can.
That part. Because for me, that fear is one of the biggest obstacles for so many people. Like, I think the 5% that we hear about.
Oh, yes.
Like, there's 5% that people that have conquered that. They're like, nah, I ain't, I'm going beyond the fear. And then there's 95% of people who's like, nah, I'm just going to stay right here.
Absolutely.
And so for me and you, we've decided to be a part of that 5%.
Absolutely.
And I hope the same for you who's listening and watching. Be a part of that 5% of who can conquer the fear. Like, it still exists, but you got to reframe it.
You have to.
Listen, make it turn it into your pet. You know what I'm saying? You become the master of the fear.
I like that.
Get a leash, take that fear, put it in a leash, and make it your pet. Take it for a walk. Say, you know what? You're not going to walk me. I'm going to walk you.
Absolutely.
You're going to stay under my feet. You're going to stay by, you know what I'm saying? You're not going to walk me and put me on a leash.
You
fear,
decide when to put it in the cage.
That part. That's what, man.
Go to bed.
Listen.
Lay down.
Are you
going to feed it?
Yes, sir.
Are you going to give it water?
No, you're going to starve that fear.
Starve it.
Starve the fear, feed the faith.
Starve the fear, feed the faith. Look, I need my notepad. I'm going to remember that.
Starve the fear, feed the faith. Now, that fear needs to suffer from malnutrition. So many people are just overfeeding their fear. The fear is so obese for some people. They need to, I don't want to make light of the medicine that everybody's taking, the Ozempic. You need to give you need to starve your fear. That thing needs to lose weight. You need to reframe it and give it to your faith. Pour so much into that faith. You don't see it. You got to believe it. Just keep going. Envision that finish line. That's what's been giving me hope. I envision a finish line. Sometimes it gets a little dim. Breathe, step back. We got to do some meditation. You know what I'm saying? We'll get into more on that. But focus on that finish line.
Starve the fear, feed the faith. If you haven't caught on to anything up to this point, please write that down. Why? Because after this segment, you're probably going to forget it and you're going to say it was so good.
Yeah.
Write that down. Because as soon as, guess what? When I leave here, I'm writing it down. The
Starve
only reason
the
I'm not
faith,
putting my phone right now because my phone is not
feed the
on
fear.
me.
Yeah.
Starve the
Your
fear,
fear.
feed the faith.
Yep. That's it.
That's huge.
That's huge, yeah.
So part 2 to that is there's a reason why we are sharing, how did I get over that leap of fear and walk into faith? Because I didn't know what I was doing. Our hope is that by me sharing my road and by Amos sharing his road to overcome that fear and get into the promised land, it's going to show you that you can do it too.
Facts.
What can you pull from our actions? What can you pull from our mindset? What can you pull from what worked for us and apply it to you to do what you know you need to do? You're sitting on that gold mine of a gift. There will be nobody that can be better at being you than you. So why are you not being you?
Listen, self-awareness and being able to look yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? I am more than a conqueror. And we make fun of of Ricky Bobby in the movie Talladega Nights. If you're not first, you're last. But you got to look in the mirror. You're like, listen, man, I'm the head and not the tail. I'm above and not beneath.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be the lender and not the borrower.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Nothing against, again, if you're in the season of borrowing and you're not, but you got to turn it around, all right? Feed the faith, starve the fear. So you're going to become the lender and not the borrower. I'm going to I'm going to be the person that's going to bring hope to people. Right now, I'm going to need the hope. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a season, but you got to, again, starve the fear, feed the faith. And so look yourself in the mirror and speak those words.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I'm a king or I'm a queen if it's the ladies. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody can speak ill of me. I believe in myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm intelligent. I'm beautiful. You know what I'm saying? I'm strong. I'm elegant. Like, you know what I'm saying? Man or woman, it's like, listen, you have to look yourself in the mirror and believe.
So much. See, I'm about to go down the road of that right there. I'm going to hit the pause button because I can go so much more into that. I want to pick it back up with what did we do? How do we overcome that fear or reframe it as what? How do we get over that nervousness?
Truth.
Right? And walk into the faith side of things.
Based on the problem
Based on the problem of what? This
cheesesteak
that I just took a bite of was terrible.
Yeah.
You guys, so when she comes back, going back to the story, the waiter comes back and she says, I know you guys were really hungry. I got to know you liked it, right? That's our number one item. Now, because Amos, myself, my now wife, we have a heart. We have a passion for people. I told her, we'll tell you how we felt about this cheesesteak, but you got to promise us one thing. Like, I'm acting like she's right here. You got to promise us that you will not take this off of our tab. We want to pay for it because we ordered it. That's not your fault. She said, okay, I promise. It'll stay on your tab. We said, great. This cheesesteak, it was absolutely terrible. She goes,
trash.
What?
It was trash.
You didn't like it? It's number one.
Trash.
It was trash. Now bring us our chili cheese dogs. When she left, she laughed. Everybody was on a high.
Yeah.
That's when the light bulb went off over my head. I looked at Jessica and I said, Jessica, let me hit the pause button. I knew we were going to open up some kind of business. I didn't know what. All the way up until this point in time in my life. I've known since I've been a kid I'm going to start a business. Yeah. People are coming to me, what is it going to be? I don't know. I don't know just yet. It's going to be something. Fast forward, it was this moment that the light bulb went off. I knew what it was. And what was it? Jessica said, what business is this going to be? We're going to open up a cheesesteak restaurant.
Man, that light bulb hit. I love that. I love hearing that moment when someone hits a light bulb. Like for me, I just recently experienced that experience in my life in this turn, and we'll talk about that another time, but that light bulb experience is nothing like it. It's random though. It comes out of nowhere. It's not like, because I think for me, for 3 months, I was sitting around like waiting for the light bulb. Like, okay, like, I'm like, you know, that light bulb, like,
right.
I'm waiting for it to get, and it's not coming, bro. Like, oh man.
You know what's crazy?
Yeah.
What is the significance of the light bulb going off of something that clicked in your mind versus me getting up right now and I see the light bulb and I'm going to turn it on and say, Amos, what you need to do is What's the power behind that versus the light bulb going off because of you? Somebody could have walked up to me and
Listen,
said, Cory, open up the restaurant.
Listen,
I would say, like crazy.
I have a very close-knit circle of accountability. And a lot of them beat me up and cuss me out all the time. Like, Amos, you are so talented. You got all this going on. This is what you need to be doing. I mean, they've been saying it for years. My best friend could attest to that. My best friend has known me for 30-something years. Now, if anybody's seen me go to transition, my best friend. I've known him since 10th grade. And so he's one of the main people be like, Amos, man, like you're one of the dopest dudes out here. Like, now my best friend, he's like a huge producer. Like he's top notch. And he's looking at me like, bro, like you the dude. And why are you not doing this? Like you need to be doing this. And for years I'll look at him like, yeah. It never clicked on me. And then the other day when I had that light bulb hit me, I called him. I said, bro, all them years, like it finally clicked, bro. Like I figured it out. I think I figured it out. And he's just, you know, he's a real quiet guy, but he's like, I told you. Yeah. Why even say that? I told you, you idiot. You know.
When that bad boy clicks for you, so that's crucial to just make note of mentally. Amos, your light bulb went off. Why? Because something happened in your mind. My light bulb went off because something happened in my mind. Your light bulb has to go off. If it hasn't gone off yet, then something's missing, and allow the pieces to still come together. So the light bulb went off in my mind, and our road was, Jessica, we're gonna open up a Philly cheesesteak restaurant. She's like, wait a minute, why? Here was my mind shift. If the waiter just said this cheesesteak is the #1 item on the menu of all the appetizers. They had 40 plus, and it was trash.
Yeah.
I told Jessica, I said, we can show the people what a real cheesesteak is supposed to taste like, because I know it ain't supposed to taste like this. Yeah. If this is the #1, what if I reframe their #1 to show them what a real cheesesteak sandwich is? Did I know how to make one? No, but I knew I was gonna learn. It's gotta be easy. We began building different recipes. We went home. We went straight to the fire. We got the information. We got the revelation. Now it's time for action. If you're serious, we applied the action. We're putting together sandwiches. We're putting together, this is crucial. We're putting together seasons, and we're testing stuff out. We got associated with our closest maybe 20 people, and they were our sample, our market, right? So we invite them, free food for y'all, just, you know, come downstairs and we'll come outside, make a small little sandwich for you. They would take a few bites, and I would ask them, each individual family, mom, dad, sister, but the non-yes men, that's important. We'll probably talk about that another time.
Yeah, no, you talk about that.
People who we trust their level of criticism, but I don't want the yes men. But I also don't want the people who are going to just be trying to disagree with me just to disagree with me.
That's what I call my circle of accountability.
Yes, that's good.
It's something others may call it differently, but for me, that's my circle of accountabilities. And people, they're not yes men. They will tell Amos the truth. They will say your breath stink.
Right.
Go brush your teeth.
Absolutely.
And I have to take it. Amos, you were flat out wrong. Go correct it.
And they're not saying it in a way to be malicious or hidden motives. They're doing that looking. If we're having a conversation, they want to save you from my perception of you. You just didn't know. Let me make him aware. Yeah. Looking out for you because you just didn't know. Those people they provide you.
They cover your blind spots.
Huge. Amos, this is so huge. We could have a whole session on
that's how
that right there.
Offline conversations be. We just go, you know, but we on this podcast and this thing could be 15 hours, you know, but seriously, it can, like, because we like that. But what I admire, you shared, you know, several steps you took from the moment before you got the light bulb, you know. Because nowhere you walked in that restaurant say, you know, I'm gonna open my own restaurant one day. You didn't, that day didn't start that way, and that's what I noticed. Is like for me, my light bulb, it didn't come in a day where I thought I'm going to get a light bulb today. It happened unexpectedly. So like before then, and like from the moment into that light bulb, like everything before that, you know, it was just going through the journey, living life, being open to whatever. Like, if you kept in your mind, I want to be a shoe salesman,
Right.
you would have probably missed that opportunity to open your cheek. Because in your mind, you had one track, like, that's it. Not being open. Some of us have to remain open. Like some people, maybe you're calling, you got it clear. Your light bulb at your early stage, I'm going to be a shoe salesman. But if you don't have that clear light bulb, remain open.
Just remain open.
It'll come at the right time. And when it comes, you may not even have the equipment or have the knowledge, but you have that light bulb, you have the burden.
And you said it. If it's not clear in that moment, just be open. Then when the light bulb goes off, or on rather, then you could be more intentional with, I know what I'm building towards. Your light bulb is on. Got it. So huge. So thank you for that. Huge. So resume back to where we were with the cheesesteak. It was terrible. That we are solving a problem. Now, my wife and I asked her, do you know what a cheesesteak is? She had never heard of a cheesesteak before.
That's funny.
What? This
man,
is huge,
I live
though.
and breathe by that thing back East Coast.
She doesn't know what a cheesesteak is, but watch this. Watch how crucial this is. Cory, if you believe, her words, but if you believe this will work, let's do it.
Wow.
She didn't question me with the, well, what is a cheesesteak and how is it? Those questions weren't there. They were going to come later, but right now in this moment, Cory has had the light bulb. She sees whatever it is, he's serious about it. What can she do to support me? Because
stop right there.
Yes.
Stop right there. Let's put a button right here. Single men, single guys. I'm part of that. If you're dating, you're with your mate, and you're serious about taking it to the next step, that was an indication right there of that. Like, if that's not a green flag,
oh man,
that's a whole nother. If that's not a green flag, that she supported you.
She supported me.
She had no knowledge.
Nope.
She didn't even know what point of reference.
Nope.
But she supported you. She believed in you. Like, that's such a green flag. Like, if that was, we could talk about what led to the marriage, but
absolutely,
I believe that's probably a pivotal turn for you when you were dating her.
Whenever I was dating in my previous, great individuals prior to, but I was never in a situation where in the relationship they supported my dreams.
I'm going to call it like this. She supported your crazy.
She supported my crazy.
Because it's crazy. You've never done Philly cheese. Like, let's be real. Taking a leap of faith is crazy. Taking a leap of faith is crazy. Sometimes it's not, and there are times it's, but most of the times that leap of faith it's bizarre.
Crazy in that moment looks like, where's the money? Who do you know that owns a business?
Yeah.
Mind you, the answers to both of these are zero to little, right?
Yeah.
3, who are you to think that you're going to start a business, a for-profit business rather, and no one in your entire lineage
has done it?
Wow. None of those 3 things and other stuff that I'm sure we all can probably come up with, none of those things came up in that conversation. It's not to say it wouldn't come up, but that conversation, this is not the time, this is not the moment for that.
Wow.
I have seen the dream. How can we breathe life into this faith movement that we're about to have? It's easy to pinpoint the different fear aspects of why this wouldn't work. Okay, but how, instead of saying why this wouldn't work, why don't we reframe it and say, what do we need to do to ensure this works?
Especially when that light bulb hits, it's almost like a lightning bolt.
It was instant.
It just hits you like,
it was instant.
Let's go. Like, and all of a sudden you're gonna do whatever it takes, do the necessary work, research, and what I'm saying, like, and we can talk about so many success stories of people who had no background in anything. Matter of fact, we're relatively young, but there are people who are a little older than we are that started, like, totally revamped and succeeded because it was like, listen, I got the passion. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get, because that light bulb, it was so. What's the word? It was not revitalizing, but again, the key indication it was a problem that you had a solution for. I think that probably is more majority of the fuel behind that lightning bolt. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because you saw the problem, like, yo, this is trash.
This is trash, and I'm about to solve this problem. I'm about to look it up. So here's the thing. The epiphany came to me. Now, my helpmate, she was able to build onto the areas that I was not so well versed or well, I guess, in those different areas. So I had my strengths, I also had my weaknesses, but my weaknesses were her strengths, and let's just call her weaknesses was the creative side. Well, that's my, and it's
a balance.
It's a balance. It was a balance, and that's crucial. The people who you have in your accountability circle, that's huge too as well. So as the epiphany came to me, immediately she got to work. Jessica, she started doing what? For my birthday, you guys, she said, we're going to Philly. Why are we going to Philly? Y'all, she had a list. This is my weakness. This is her strength. She had made a list of maybe 20 to 25 Philly cheesesteak restaurants that we were going to visit. She told me my rule, which I did not like this rule. She said, we are not to go to these restaurants and eat the food in whole. Few bites, conversation, and we out. Why? Because we are going to get a different taste for all the different cheesesteaks. Corey, you'll get your fullness in all of these cheesesteaks. When we finish, you're going to be sick of eating cheesesteaks. I didn't think so because I love cheesesteaks. But makes sense, right? It was so tempting not to. All right, so anyways, we go there, and she had a list of these restaurants that we were going to go to and check them out. While going there, she had a list of who were the owners that we were going to potentially sit down with and meet with. Why are we going to do this? Number one, let's just have a conversation. How did you start up? How long have you been here? What does it take to make a Philly cheesesteak? Now, let's flip over to me. I knew that I needed to make a good quality cheesesteak. There are people from the East Coast here in Dallas. We're in Dallas. It's a mecca. It's one of the largest cities in the entire country. People are going to be from the East Coast, West Coast. They're going to know what a cheesesteak is. Even though, Jessica, you don't know what a cheesesteak is. There are others that do, right? I did not, this is crucial, I did not want to compete with Subway. I didn't want to compete with Quiznos. I didn't want to compete with Jersey Mike's. I want to be the one sold cheese. I want to be known as the cheesesteak guy. We went there. We sat with owners, and we saw the cheesesteak restaurants that were very ritzy and glamorous and sophisticated and clean, and we saw the hood spaces with that holes in the walls and it was like you got to look over your shoulder. We in Philly, we had a rental car, bruh. Y'all, we had our list when we go up there, and I hit the pause button after this. This was so interesting. So that was my birthday gift, right? To do market and enjoy. So we go into the street. We headed to our first place. We leave out, and we're talking cheesesteaks. There was the valet guy. He says, hey, I hear you guys are from Texas. You're looking for a cheesesteak place? And we said, yeah. He said, go to this one right here. It was right across the street from our hotel. We go there upon his recommendation. It was good. We came out, and we're talking about, the experience. There was a guy, he looked like he was from Philly. He was in the area. He was looking at us, and I said, hey, man, you here from here? Are you from here in Philly? He said, yeah, cheesesteak, y'all just came out of there? We said, yeah, we're looking for the best cheesesteak spots. We got a list here. We showed it to him. He said, he started circling the ones that were the good ones, but there were also some that he said, you need to go, all these spots like this place you just came out of, that's a tourist trap. You need to go to the real spots. Now, I took us into some of the hood spots, and we had a nice Camaro. We was like, okay, wait a minute. But it was in that, he took us to those authentic places. We was looking for our identity. If we start up this restaurant, what would it look like? Is it going to be sophisticated and ritzy and glamorous? Or is it going to be more of that, which we chose, which was the mom and pop type of feel, the diner type of feel? Yelling over the counter, hey, let me get that wit. Whatever it is. No wit, cheese, all that good stuff. He helped direct us to those locations that would have brought that level of awareness of what we want our identity to be in Texas. Now, mind you, these owners, we aren't seen as a threat to them. We from Texas.
It's not even that region.
We're not even in that region. They want to ship. If you want to get somebody talking, ask them about them.
because it's disarming because you're no threat to them. You know,
No threat
you have
at
to
all.
you have to disarm them, because if you go in there and you look like you're a threat, they're
Right.
not giving you nothing.
Nothing. And also, how many people do they run into that just simply wants to know about their experience of how did you create this? You know, what is your level of knowledge of why this recipe? This is they enjoy this. This is what they do.
Wow.
So I'm gonna give you guys this. Now, mind you, we had already made our recipe of what we thought a cheesesteak was, and it tasted good. And we're asking our small circle of people, 20 or so, saying, would you pay X amount of dollars for this? I would pay $3.50 for this. $3.50? Oh, that ain't no money. So we knew we have not arrived, right?
But this ain't Wendy's, buddy.
So we go to the owners of these different locations, and we're asking them, you know, what makes a cheesesteak? And they started asking us, well, how are you making? We told them our recipe. We had our tablet. We started, you know, onion powder, garlic powder, Lawrence, and he goes, oh no, that's not a cheesesteak. Your number one problem is you're doing too much. Keep it simple. Cheesesteak.
Stop right there. Stop right there.
I went too fast.
Cory, no. That's another moment right there. That's another notepad moment. Say that again. You're doing too much. Keep it simple. Oh, God.
You can apply that in so much in your life.
First we talked about, he said what?
Right.
We said starve the fear, feed the faith.
Yes.
Second thing, you're doing too much. Keep it simple. That's post light bulb moment.
Yes.
Because I think some people get to that light bulb and start doing the most, and they wear themselves out and quit. And I'm speaking of myself. I've been in my years of entrepreneurship. I've tried it. You know, I'm no rookie to that. I went and did the most. You know, we have big dreams, and didn't realize it's the simple.
It's a simple.
Keep it simple. You're doing too much. Keep it simple. Okay, I had to get that out because we can't let that slide. We can't let that big nugget.
Somebody would have missed it.
That was a huge nugget right there that you could not let slide. Yeah.
You're right. That is really huge. And hearing those three words, keep it simple, come from someone who is successful, the expert. He's not saying that to steer the ship elsewhere. That's the hidden
But honestly,
formula.
the greats to tell you is like they think the formula is this huge, complex formula. It's like the formula.
Right.
It ain't.
Y'all, we had like, 1/4 cup of this season and 1/2 cup of this season and that season. No, and I'll give a little bit of the nugget. What he said was, let me show you the bare bones of what that keep it simple looks like. Per the expert, the guy who has been, you know, in this establishment for 50 years plus, the number one spot in Philly, the spot that we said we want JC's Philly cheesesteak, which is what we named it, to look like this. He said all you need is, of course, your authentic meat, salt and pepper. Keep it simple. I'm gonna keep it there. There is another.
I'm dead because I'm sitting here like.
Now there is the ratio matters,
but it's so much that, you know, for those who are foodies, you know, we go around and taste some great stuff,
right?
And a lot of these big time chef, you know, 5 Michelin star chefs and stuff like that, you'll be surprised. Some of the ingredients are simple as salt and pepper.
Yes,
because it's sometimes the quality of the meat.
You already. You must have been in Philly.
Listen, I was listen, man. I'm a foodie, but I ain't get the little belly for no reason, bro. Listen, I eat some good food.
See, there the attention to detail outside of, because of course simplicity matters, but then you do have to think about, you know, ratios, of course, salt and pepper. So there's that balance, but the quality matters, not quantity, but quality, right?
Quality over quantity.
The bread, you have to get Philly bread.
Wow, it's the type of bread. Yeah,
it's the type of bread.
What kills a lot of people who makes Phillies out here is the bread be soggy. It cannot absorb the moisture, and
Yeah.
it just seeps through. By the time you grab it, you're dealing with all this. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, yo, a real Philly.
Or it's gonna be too hard and you could barely bite through it. It's like, okay, I don't want too soft. I don't want soggy. I don't
I
want
need no cracker Philly. Like,
right.
me like, I broke my tooth because I'm trying to eat a
Gums
Philly.
hurting.
Like, yeah. So yeah.
So that's what we did. Kept it simple. Of course, there's like some small other little nuggets. If you want those nuggets, you're gonna have to either connect with Amos, and maybe he'll tell you, because I'll probably tell him the secret sauce, or connect with me. But that's another story. We kept it simple. We went back essentially to the drawing board. You guys, when we applied what we learned out there in Philly, there's much more that we did out there in Philly because it was an all-week event. We came back, we applied it, and when we took that sandwich to our, I call it now, team of 20 people, I was going to say 19 of them were on board, but all 20 were on board. I knew if these all 20 non-yes individuals, I won them over to where they are now saying they would pay X amount of dollars for this sandwich, had superseded what Jessica and I needed to make 33% profit on our expenses. When we knew what our price was, when they said they'd be willing to pay more than that, and they were being honest, I'm okay now with opening up the restaurant, and not everybody's gonna like it, but the fact that I grabbed those 20
says a lot.
It says a lot. So that margin out there, because not everybody's gonna love it, I'm okay with that because we did our homework, we did our research, we won over the people who told us they would not give us their yes. Guess what? We won their yes. I'm good with it.
I love that. You won their yes.
We won their yes. From there, moving onward, that was the biggest, I think, hurdle for us was getting what would be that main item, right? I'm seeing like the location of the building, things of that nature. That's like the sides and things of that nature. Along the way, God put people in our path. We're now looking for a building, and there was one Caucasian guy. He comes out of his, I'm gonna give you something else. He comes out of his building, and we're looking at Felice's locations everywhere, right? All throughout Dallas. And he comes out and he says, hey, can I help you guys with something? And we told him our vision. He doesn't know us, but he sees our heart. He sees our passion. He tells us he's the owner of the next door building. Would love to have you. We need a sandwich spot in this area. He said, can I help you with something? Because my buddies, they own some successful restaurants too as well. I feel like I can pour into you something that you can take with you. Are we not going to listen to him?
Listen.
He's an older guy. You know what he told us? He said, you're going to be hearing a lot of noise. You're going to be hearing a lot of advice. I promise if you listen to what I'm going to tell you, you'll do great, because I see the passion, you guys. I see the drive. I'm going to tell you right now, you guys have what it takes. Jessica and I looked at each other. We said, okay, he doesn't know us. We don't know this guy. We black, you white. Why are you believing in us?
That part.
What he told us was, just so always remember this, if the food is good, the people will come. Period.
What was that movie in Field of Dreams?
Keep
if you
it
build
simple.
it, they will come. If you cook the food, when you focus on quality over quantity, everything will fall in place. I learned that. I got that word, Cory, last year before I took that leap of faith. And you know, everybody know I'm saved and sanctified. So the Holy Spirit was speaking to me, and He was giving me instructions before I took that leap of faith. He said, Amos, I'm gonna need you to focus on quality and not the quantity. Just don't look at the number of people or lack of people or lack of whatever you present and do. Do it with quality. And the quantity will come. I got that revelation so quick, Cory. It was as clear as day. Because I was like, even before the shift, I got that revelation. Focus on quality.
You ready for this? So you're a believer, quality will always win over quantity. I'm a believer, quality will always win over quantity. Here's the thing. So now we're getting into some areas where, watch this, and it's all good. Not everybody, I'm sure, believes that. I believe that, you believe that, so many others of us believe that. here's something else I had to tell myself, and I almost want to say convince myself. How sure are you that it's always going to be quality over quantity? I'm 100% sure. I'm not even going to say I'm 110% sure, because why aren't you 120%? I'm 100% sure. Here's what I had to tell myself. Those people that I'm going to be running into that would not agree that it's quality over quantity, and they just believe in maybe just numbers, quality, whatever. If it's burnt, if it's dirty, if it's whatever, just it'll be fine. Just get it to subpar, numbers. They're 100% that what? Quantity over quality. Here's what I say.
Yep. I'm going to add to that, which is an apropos example. Look at what's happening at Boeing. Where now the CEO is stepping down because since he's been taken over, he's been focusing on quantity over quality. And now where their planes are falling apart because they focused on the quantity, making money and getting it out, and not the quality. Listen, they probably was making bank because they got the numbers. And then in the long run, they pay a huge price.
You'll see there's some parallels with the type of people who believe, I hope this isn't getting too deep. There are some parallels with the type of people who believe in quantity, and there's some parallels of the people who believe in quality. You're a good-hearted person, no hidden motives. I'm a good-hearted person, no hidden motives. We both agree in quality. We believe I would rather have less planes, in your example, that is going to safeguard the lives of other people. Why? Because we care about that. When you're dealing with people who care about quantity, in your example, more than quality, you deal with things like planes falling out the sky, but we got more money, but we have a higher casualty rate potentially.
And now we're entering in a season of of exponential loss.
So with that,
you paid a huge price when you focus more on quantity over quality.
I would pose the question. There are people on the podcast. I don't have to ask myself this question because I know the answer, but I think you would need to ask yourself, what type of person are you? Are you a quality person? Or are you a quantity person?
Let's bring it into even simpler terms. Now we're dealing in the age of content creators, and I'll give an example. I'm a filmmaker, and when you're dealing with content creating, people break the rules of filmmaking. Like, I went to school for filmmaking, so I know a lot of stuff that people are putting out there that consider as short films and stuff like that. They break all crazy kind of rules, but they're getting so much numbers. These people are becoming millionaires over quantity, not the quality. And so we are in an age where people could care less about the quality. Like, people are using phones. Like, I have real cameras. People are doing what I'm doing with phones and doing numbers.
Right.
They don't even got lights. They just like, listen, I'm gonna have a little tripod, put my phone,
on the filter,
and they getting numbers. So it almost makes you want to bypass quality because it's like, at the end of the day, it don't matter in certain instances. And to me, you have to literally know that you're called to do this and stick to the quality. Because like you said, there are quantity folk and there are quality folk.
Right.
Like, people who are into the quantities, like, I could care less about how I get there. Right. I'm just trying to get there.
Right.
Like, but there are some people who say, you know what, I am concerned of the value of the worth of what I'm doing. Like, the type of things that I'm using to get there. Like, some people just care about getting there.
Just get in there.
Get there, but you care about the quality of the journey, like how I build my podcast. I put out just a moment ago on my socials of how I put my podcast together. Like, there's so many different ways to put a podcast together. I do mine's, with what I have, but it's what I'm saying? It's not I don't take no shortcuts. Like, I still use lights. I use the cameras. Now, some people have switchers and all that stuff. For me, I kind of go a little kind of more, simpler, but it's quality. I take my time. You know what I'm saying? Now, some people who they use their phone or use and probably getting tons of people, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's basically, you have to be aware.
Yeah.
why you're doing this, like the why behind it, the why I'm doing this. I'm not doing this for the numbers. Like like you said, if you build it, the numbers will come. If you build it right, if you cook the Philly cheesesteak right, the numbers, people will come.
That's what he was saying. Don't worry about the numbers. Do it right. The people will come. We kept that. Fast forward, we just started being connected with the right people. Him and so many others. Those were our affirmations that we are on the right path, right? So found a spot and fast forward past a lot. We got into our building, we got into our location, and Jessica and I, again, keeping it simple, we knew we was gonna have distractions and coming from left field, right field, this, there, and the other, right? We created 3 rules for ourselves to help us dictate what is important, and always remember that. Our 3 rules that we came up with ourselves is, as long as we have this restaurant, we're going to focus on 3 things. 1, great customer service. 2, great tasting food from the guy. And 3, cleanliness. Now, how do we come up with those things? That's simple. That's simple. We took that from when we go to, I don't want to name some restaurants, but how many times do you use your hard-earned working dollars and go to a fast food joint, through the drive-through, and the food is good, and it's fairly clean, but the person in the drive-through just nasty attitude, bad customer service.
Oh my God.
It's frustrating. You don't want to spend your money there.
That's why people love Chick-fil-A. Well, pre-pandemic Chick-fil-A was busting. It was right.
Absolutely.
Post-pandemic Chick-fil-A a little different. They not as friendly as they used to be.
They had to get some workers in there.
Yeah, like they focus on that quantity.
The quantity.
They ain't the quality game anymore. Cause like I'm telling you, I remember before the pandemic, you get into the line in Chick-fil-A, you be done in like 3 seconds.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like when I noticed post-pandemic,
people would go through there just to hear my pleasure.
My pleasure, you know, and it was like, man, these people are awfully nice. Now
you get your food, they be like,
you be 10 minutes later, like park over there, you know, and I see and you know, it happens, you know, but it is when you kind of lose your why and lose what made you get to where you get, you know what I'm saying? You tend to focus on the wrong things. You tend to water down the quality, and, you know, and so, you know, it's always good to have the good checks and balances. Like that circle, for me, my circle of accountability, notice is like, my prayer is as I build and with quality and the quantity comes.
It will come. It has to.
You know what I'm saying? I do not, my quality doesn't suffer. And we still see like it's possible because again, the bigger you get, the more delicate and more complicated things get. We get it. And so even with Apple, remember Apple, let's talk about that. Apple back in the days, you know, that product was so exclusive, you know what I'm saying? You can tell when you held an Apple product, it was like, this joint was right, you know? From the first Apple phone, the iPhone, you know? And now we're in Apple, about to be an Apple 16, iPhone 16. And, you know, you can tell like they just doing anything. Like after a while, I mean, they're so successful, they can basically say like, listen, this thing could walk on its own leg and follow, you know what I'm saying? And we'll just buy it. And so they built such a prestige of being the top notch. They don't care. They don't really focus on the quality now. It's about the quantity. And it's like, my goal is no matter how big you are, and I believe there are still corporations out there that still have the quality and the quantity, like the balance.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can achieve balance. Because I think some people think you got one that has to go.
Right. No, it can be both. Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
And so you build your foundation with your restaurant, and then you go through the process. You know what I'm saying? Like from that moment, and then like that journey, like from ground zero to phase 1 and phase 2 and phase 3. How was those transitions? Like when you first started, I can imagine you were discouraged.
Absolutely. So you touched on something. The journey matters. It matters to us. We take note of the bad, and why do we do that? Because we want to make sure that this is not a a ring around the rosy where this problem isn't going to just keep coming up again. So let's come up with a solution. And I'm very solution oriented.
Makes
So
sense.
if I run into a problem, I want to come up with a solution. Great, because I don't want to run into this problem again.
Facts.
So some of the downturns that we came into was I'll take it back. Looking for a location, right? Looking for a building. We were calling around. What's the lease on this building? What's the lease on this building? How much is monthly rent on this building? And you guys, I'm just asking, what's the price? I remember one particular individual that I called. Her response was, well, what is it you're going to do? And I told her we're going to open up a Philly cheesesteak restaurant. How much is the rent? Her response was, oh, sweetie, this restaurant industry in Dallas is going to chew you up and spit you out.
Ma'am,
Excuse me.
I
I didn't ask you that. She proceeded to say everything she wanted to say. And she said, oh, by the way, the owner of this complex would not be interested in opening up a restaurant on this strip. Have a nice day.
I would have.
So discouraging, but so what are you going to do? Am I going to go back into the corner? And no, I'm going to keep calling around. Another story. I'm telling you about these downturns, right? So we'll call another location. The guy's name just so happens to be Cory.
Oh, wow.
So this was funny. Hey, sir, what's going to be the rent on this building? And macho guy, oh, all right, it's fine. So he hits me with, what is it going to be? And he tells me $8,000 a month. Okay, all right. Jeez. Well, there was something, we're musicians. We have a level of discernment. I was going to let it go and just call the next one, but something said, Cory, something isn't going right. You're calling all these places and you're not getting the answers that you were expecting. I wasn't expecting 8,000. I wasn't expecting 7,000. I took Cory's number and I gave Jessica a call. I say, hey, Jessica, do me a favor. Call this number in a couple of hours and ask him, how much is the rent on this building? And if he asks you what you want to do, tell him how you just make it nonchalant. I'm going to open up a little sandwich spot. What did she say? Okay. She didn't give me the whole, yep, you got me.
Be inquisitive and digging like this. She just went with like, let's get it.
She went with it.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. That's dope.
She calls, mind you, she's doing this while she has her daytime job at the hospital too as well. All right, resume. She calls the number. She calls me back. What number did she tell me? $4,000 a month. I then proceeded to tell her what the conversation was between him and I. And with her, she tells me he was very laughy and he was very giggly. And would you like to come see the building? Oh, I didn't get any of that, but I'm not willing to pay, but you gave me the $8,000. How does that happen? Man. Okay, insert plan, solution to I see a problem. Jessica, you have now just been the designee to call each of these locations and ask what is the rent. So now that is your job because that is unsuccessful. You have the sweet voice. You let them think that they're going to get some play or whatever. I don't know. But for whatever reason, it's successful with you. So she became the person. I'm doing what? I'm calling. I'm gathering the numbers. And so is she. And she's just calling, hey, how much? I'll start with how we got into our building another day. It was a godsend. So fast forward a little bit here. When we opened up our restaurant on day number 1, I'm about to drop something that not a lot of people know. On our first opening day, mind you, we opened in spring 2020 in March.
Yeah.
What else was March 2020? That was when the kids got let out for school and they never came back because of COVID. Yeah. Do y'all think I was scared? Do y'all think I was fearful? Now, that's probably as close to fear more than nervous, right? But I had no choice. Jessica and I had no choice but to do what? Move forward. We have already gone through what you mentioned earlier. We've gone through the growing pains of building. We've bought equipment. Yeah. We've painted. Yeah. We've torn down walls. We've revamped the restroom. We've bought all this stuff. My
Ain't no
entire
turning back
life
now.
savings.
Yeah, ain't no turning back now.
Ain't no turning back now. I can't get. I got the receipts, but at half the value. No, sir. Ain't no turning back now.
Gone.
We done put it out on social media. We've made business pages. We've applied for loans. Ain't no turning back now.
Jeez.
This has to work. Why?
Yeah.
Because it has to, and it
part.
will.
Yes, sir.
Right. So our first opening of the day was that Monday of spring break, and I'm sharing something with you guys. This is something hopefully this is going to encourage some of you out there.
Yes, sir.
On our opening day, do you know how much money I had to my name?
Man.
I had $7 to my name.
$7.
$7. I had saved up all this money my entire life because I knew there was going to be an opportunity to open up a business. I just didn't know what, and I didn't want the opportunity to pass me by due to lack of funds.
Wow, powerful.
That was the biggest leap of faith in my life that I had ever taken. Wow. $7 to my name. Wow. You guys, in order to get high, I had to go low. I knew it. It's like planting a seed in the ground. Woo! It takes time to...
Listen, if it's not blessing somebody, it's blessing me. $7. You know who else also had $7 when they got started? Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. One of the biggest stars in the planet. And he named his actual company $7 Productions, something to that point. And so you're in good company, bro. Like in 2020, when you had that and where you are, you know what I'm saying? Like that did not stop you. Like you made all this savings and you took that leap of faith. God saw that. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And he's going to make a way. Like he made a way.
What had taken me decades to save up, it was really gone in really a matter of no time. I wasn't focused on that. I knew this is it.
This is what, and I said this on the previous, like, yo, like, I know it's to take the leap of faith that I've taken. I should, you know, in normal circumstances, I should have had other things lined up. It's common, like it's common sense. Before you jump over there, make sure you have something to land on.
Right.
I didn't.
Right.
I just took the leap. Yeah. And I was like, because God told me to take the leap. It's time. It's like, time. Because I've ignored the call before and I paid a huge price. So I learned if that call comes back again, I'm going to respond and I'm not even going to think twice because I know my faith is strong enough to know that he's going to make it worth it. So where I am today, similar to you, is like I took that leap of faith and I'm in it and I'm like, my bank account ain't looking sweet. I remember when it was looking sweet. Right. And, you know what I'm saying? And here I am in the midst of this leap of faith, but there's a peace.
There's something you mentioned. God put something in you. The vision was given to you to move forward. Against all odds, against what the statistics say you should do. Watch this. Warren Buffett, there's a quote that he says, you should never test the depth of the river with both feet. Well, y'all, Jessica and I, we test the depth of that river with both feet.
Man, oh man.
But watch this. It worked. Now,
wow.
It had to.
Yes, sir.
I'm not recommending everybody to go test every river you see in front of you.
Listen.
I got to put that disclaimer out there.
Yeah.
But we did that, and it had to work. I want to mention this. So when we started that first day, the community supported. And Jessica and I, we looked at each other. This is it. Oh, my God. Wow. Like, we are killing it. We banking. Fast forward. You have your lows. You have your highs. What we want to do is we want to have more highs than lows. Good. Right? So you have lows. You have to do some homework. Why are we experiencing these lows? What can we do that's doing better? Stay focused on the three rules that you have applied to yourself. Great taste in food, right? Great customer service, because we know what that experience is like. And cleanliness. How many times do you go to a restaurant and it's great customer service, it's great tasting food, but you see a roach on the floor.
Bathroom's trash.
The bathroom is trash. So if we stay focused on that, and we knew the distractions were going to come, watch this. Unfortunately, this was during the time period of what? George Floyd had occurred during this. Yeah. So stay focused. So we start seeing a shift in business ownership start saying what? Put black-owned business on your window. Okay, great. that's what our heart is. But Jessica and I are looking at each other. What significance is it to let people know that the owners here are black? We just want you to do what? We want people that are hungry to enjoy a cheesesteak.
I don't just don't give me a sympathy. Don't
give me
sympathy. No,
I don't want your sympathy. I want your money because I'm gonna give you full belly.
Appreciate my product.
Appreciate my product.
Despite of whatever's going on externally in society and the culture. Like, don't culturally support me. Support me.
Because you still gonna eat somewhere.
Period.
That's it.
Because when that dies down, was that support genuine?
Y'all,
it wasn't. You felt it was you felt your heart plucked. They plucked your heart and your emotions, and you know. And that's one thing I see a lot of people using that tactic to gain support. Mm-hmm. You know, support me because of this cause, like, versus it being a genuine listen. This is what because those causes, they come and they go.
They come and go.
But what are people drawn to? You know what I'm saying? And I appreciated hearing that, because it's like, you could easily rode that wave, like, support black-owned businesses, which I do. Support black-owned. I'm not against that, but I'm saying, like, if you have a business, have a quality product. Like, don't just have a black-owned business. Right. Have those values, like you said. What was those 3?
Great customer service, great tasting food, and cleanliness. That's our foundation.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so as a black-owned business, have those values.
Have your values.
And
foundation.
what I've seen is, like, so many people just lean on, I'm a black-owned busince, support me.
Right. That can't be the foundation.
That can't just be, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're gonna support you, but you gotta have, you know what I'm saying? Like, if what we're supporting is not safe or not quality, is not healthy.
That part. If I'm gonna be a black-owned business, watch this, which we are. I'm going to make sure I'm going to provide the best quality food, great taste of food, customer service, and cleanliness to my community.
So don't ride the wave of the culture.
Right.
Do the work.
Right.
Do the work. Like, so many people just want to ride the wave, like, support me. But what are you providing?
Right.
What work are you doing behind what, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I don't just want to have a podcast just because they say, hey, Amos has a podcast. I'm doing the work. I'm providing quality information, quality stuff that people can take away and build from.
Absolutely.
Just don't support me because I just got a podcast. No, I'm doing the work to present to people to support the product. Not just because it's a cultural movement, everybody's doing podcasts, just support me just because I'm sitting behind a mic talking. No, I feel like what I'm presenting to people is quality.
This is quality. You're bringing people in who have real, true, bona fide stories too. Man, and we're sharing this to encourage you to starve the fear, feed the faith, because that's what we did. You're bringing quality. So I mentioned that situation because while we're building up a restaurant, we aren't there yet. We're building. So no, we can't shut down the restaurant just yet to go march in the streets, 4 or 5 days a week. There was a gentleman, he comes into our restaurant and he says, ain't y'all the owners of this place? And we said, yeah, we are. And he said, well, why ain't y'all got black-owned business on the window? And so Jessica, she's handling him, and I had to step in and say, hey, are you hungry? If so, I promise this is gonna be the best Philly cheesesteak we could provide you in the company. We have customers sitting in the restaurant, and he tells us to our face, if you don't put black-owned business on that window, I just want to let you know that we coming through here tonight and we burning all this down. Now I'm nervous. He leaves. Jessica has to convince me to do what? Not Cory, don't spend the night, because I wanted to spend the night in my restaurant. I poured everything in this. I got my guns and I'm going to spend the night. And she had to convince, y'all, we having this conversation. I'm crying. I'm like, why do I have to do that? That's not the goal here. Wow. And she said, Cory, imagine if he's right, imagine 150, 200 people coming down. They're not going to just have their feet and hands. They're going to have guns too. You can't outnumber anybody more than 1, 2, 3 people. No, we have insurance on the building, ride that wave. But I knew we couldn't afford the value of our restaurant. It wasn't, adequate to keep the low monthly insurance down. We didn't value it to what the true value of it was. So I was like, I can't do it that. Fast forward, prayed on it. I couldn't sleep that night. I slept. We came back the next day. There was a ride that, or I call it a ride, but there was a march that came up the street, and they did break some windows and they did burn some stuff down. It didn't make it all the way up to our restaurant. It didn't make it all the way up there. So we were good. God protected us during that moment. Yeah. And when we're still doing, we're providing. I don't care about race. I don't care about any of that. I want to make sure if you are hungry, come check us out. Period. We got you.
That's it.
Period. I'm going to do my part to support my bro. He has a startup business. We support him whenever he has his burger shop on his food truck in the area. We support him. We always leave a $20 tip.
Listen, I love supporting black-owned businesses. One thing I don't support when I see it's a gimmick.
Yeah, and he's quality.
We know the difference. You can see the difference.
Yeah,
I can see a gimmick from a mile away. I'm from New York. I'm a New Yorker, so I love this is a gimmick. You just doing a money grab. You just doing a money grab, and I don't like that. And I don't like feeling guilted, like somebody guilting me to support. Like, no, don't say because you're black and I'm black and no.
Like I owe you.
Like no, it has to be a movement of the heart.
Right. I want to earn black, white, Asian.
Yeah.
I want to earn your business.
Period.
I want to earn it. And make me earn it.
Yeah.
It's watch this. It's easy for me to earn it. Why? Because I'm giving you quality service. 100%. No matter who you are. If you just come in hungry, if you don't come in hungry, I can't help you. Come in hungry, we got you. Fast forward, you guys, I'm getting to the end. Because of our foundation that we laid, the rest is just for the taking. What do I mean by that? Now we're coming out of COVID. Now something happens that we don't see. Now, mind you, we're looking left, right, just by default, and we're seeing restaurants that were there for 50, 60 plus years closing down. We've only been here for a few months. We've only been here for a year. I put the blinders on and said, what? Nope. We still focus on our 3 rules. That's what keep distractions left and right. We stayed focused. We're now coming out of COVID. Something happens that we didn't expect, that we didn't even know exists. What was that? We started showing up at our restaurant, opening up shop, with notes on our front door. What were the notes saying? We would like to buy your restaurant for X amount of dollars. Please give us a call at this number if you're open to having that conversation. Jessica, is that a such thing? Let me give you another distraction. No malice intent with the people giving unwarranted advice and unsolicited advice. That's another conversation for another day. One particular individual comes to me and says, you named the restaurant JC's Philly Cheesesteak. And I say, yep. He said, well, I get the C. That's Cory, but what's the J? Is that like the real true owner of this place? No. Well, yes, it is the true owner of this place. She's actually right there, Jessica. He said, wait a minute. Now, at the time, I didn't have this ring on my finger.
Yeah.
I'm trying to take it off. My finger's too fat. It looked like this. And he says, I don't see no ring. Y'all ain't married? I said, no, she's my girlfriend, but I'm going to propose to her. Oh, Cory, you done started a restaurant with the girlfriend, bro. That's stupid. Why would you do? Man, she going to take you. How do I get out of this conversation respectfully? Because I respect you as an individual, but business-wise, personal, cool, but professional, I'm good. I didn't ask for this conversation. I got to get back. Yeah. That's it. I'm just listening. So I knew what that vision was. JC's Philly Cheesesteak, this is her. She sacrificed to help build up the dream and did all the crazy stuff. She deserves every piece of this. So I knew, watch this. Again, that's another conversation regarding I knew the path that made sense for us. It didn't make sense to others. It doesn't make sense to start. She supported my crazy, right? It doesn't make sense to start a restaurant not having any knowledge about what I'm doing, being the first in my generation to start any kind of brick and mortar business, doing this to somebody that I'm not married to nor engaged, but your girlfriend.
It's unorthodox, but sometimes it's through the most unorthodox means leads to the greatest blessings. Listen, it's people think sometimes you got to go down the route 1 + 1 = 2, and this is that. Sometimes one is going to be 1 + 1 times 0 + 2 equal to it. That part. There are so many different things that happen that is not, you know what I'm saying? And so I love hearing stories like that because it's so unorthodox.
Right. It was for sure unorthodox.
And I love it because it's like people think it always has to be orthodox. It has to be this way. Sometimes it happens in a very unusual manner.
You know where my mom went to? So watch this, but fast forward the end, we're married and JC's Philly cheesesteak is still there, up and running. So does that mean we should have waited all these years to now start? Here's the thing. I think a lot of people want to wait to start when the time is perfect. The thing is, there will be no perfect time.
Never.
Even when we had our first child, we asked my dear sister, my dear friend, Robin, and she said, when y'all gonna have some kids? And we told her we were waiting for the perfect time. She said, I'm gonna tell y'all something. There will never be a perfect time. When she said that,
well,
right.
I'm now divorced, but I remember when I decided to get married. I don't regret it. I'm glad I got married. My daughter here is amazing. But I remember having a conversation with my very close brother, who's still a part of my circle of accountability, because I was like, for years, I was mulling over. I was like, yo, I got to get this right. I got to have this right. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah,
I got to get married. It's got to be right when I get married. It's like, bro, you don't got, with the right person, you don't worry about having things perfect. You get the right person, it's going to, and at that time, I felt like I made the right choice, even when the circumstances were not like perfect. You know what I'm saying? So I never, now from that point on in my life, when it's time to make those life-changing decisions like marriage or buying a house or making a business deal, like I realized sometimes the conditions aren't perfect.
They're not perfect.
Like sometimes if you wait for the conditions to be perfect, you're going to be waiting till the grave.
Right. The perfect person for me was knowing that someone was going to put 100% effort into the relationship. Because I'm going to do that.
Support your crazy.
Support my crazy. Is that enough to know that she's 100%?
Because she didn't have to. What Jessica did.
She was in her comfortable job at the hospital.
Sis, I love, I appreciate. But she supported your crazy. She didn't even, like, she took a dive into an area that she had no clue in.
Yeah.
Like that's you know what I'm saying? Like that's the word, selflessness.
Yes.
That's not even compromise. That's selflessness. And there's compromise, but there's selflessness. And that's what that shows that shows a great quality and characteristic of a great mate and companion. The selflessness, because we have in a world with so much selfishness. There's not enough selflessness, and when you come across a person that shows like she didn't have to.
She didn't.
There was no covenant. There was no contract. Right. She chose. She became selfless.
Yeah, and can you imagine what that conversation was that she had to have with her dad? Dad,
oh,
I'm quitting my hospital job that I'm comfortable in to go do what, baby girl? To go start a business with my boyfriend.
If Gracie, if my 10-year-old come in, 10, 12 years from now talking about I'm
right.
But as a father, daughters is the one thing, and I believe her father knows her well enough that the fact that she got to that point, she's not random. She doesn't seem like somebody to just be like doing stuff. So, you know what I'm saying? So I get it. I get it.
Those two things, and one of them you just hit on. He knows the daughter that he has raised. Like, I'm feeling emotional. I got to get off this topic in a minute. It's too hot. He knows the daughter that he raised. Beautiful mind, beautiful heart. She wouldn't have made that decision. She would not have made that decision. That's number one.
Because she believed in you, so she's willing to go to her daddy.
What she believed in, he believed in by default because he put in her. All right.
We going to a whole nother lane. Let's stay on this whole leap of faith subject.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Yes.
JC's Philly cheesesteak is still alive.
Still alive and well. We started getting notes on the door, people trying to offer something that we didn't know that was a thing. Now we have our nonprofit business where we feed at-risk kids all throughout the community. Over 1,500 kids eat free, hot, healthy meals each and every single day.
Love it.
What we realized is as the for-profit was growing, the nonprofit wasn't up to par, and it was depleting. It was getting less of our attention. Jessica and I, we did have to make a decision. Are we going to be more of the selfish and for-profit slow growth, or the selfless and go back to where our hearts are with the kids? We can, now that we know what to do with the for-profit business, okay, we can rinse, repeat, do that whenever. Which
I love it.
I'm not gonna say much more on that, but you'll hear about the next ones that are coming up. We decided to go the route of we hired a broker, and he was the person that facilitated us selling that building location to, number one, the highest bidder, and two, the person that would keep JC's the same and just add on top of what we already built. That's what happened. So now JC's for Cheesesteak, that building is under completely new ownership. We are not the owners. We have facilitated them with our inner workings. So there's more to be said that in the years to come. But now Jessica and I, we run and operate our nonprofit where we feed these kids in all throughout Texas, really, but mainly the selfless part. That.
Oh man, I love this. This is as we're buttoning this up. This is a perfect way to come. Because you pivoted. In this journey, you pivot. Like you're sensitive enough to listen and knowing to, all right, I got to pivot. Because you could be so bullheaded, which we become. We get so focused, and we stuck in this lane for 20 years.
Man.
And 15 years before, God done told you 20 years in, but 15 years, He said it was time for you to do something else. Right. And so that I love that, the fact that you pivoted, and now you're going into even, because again, like in order to be successful, we're gonna have to learn to serve people, and that's what, you know what I'm saying? You were serving people for profit, now you're doing a nonprofit, which I believe is amazing. And you saw that was suffering. A lot of people would have let that to the side because the title, nonprofit, like. I'm gonna transition from my profit to nonprofit and focus more on nonprofit. That's absurd in business world.
Right.
But that's not how we operate as believers. And so I love that you pivoted, and there's so much more on the horizon, because let's go back to the original point. You took that leap of faith. You saw a problem. You provided a solution.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And then God saw fit. You've gone through all the necessary processes and phases to the point now you got to a point where you're able to pivot and go to where you are now. But now I bet you now the next time you get that light bulb or feel the burden, you walking with a whole nother swag, bro. Like he's like, let's go. Like,
you ready for this?
I done tested where I can. Let's make this. I want to give it up, but let's take this to a whole nother level. You know
and the light bulbs have already gone off.
I love it.
It's just now implementation.
Because it took that initial
big one to get the.
And so what's is encouraging me is that, and where I am now in my, because things are turning around for me now. But I noticed it's like I took that leap of faith, and I went through a season where I doubted, like, man, I shouldn't have took that leap of faith, man. I should have just stayed my butt in comfort zone, but I kept going. In the discomfort. And then it pays off, and he's like, you know what? Now, when I get that light bulb, I ain't thinking twice. I hesitate. What? Please, I ain't hesitating. I ain't even blinking. I'm gone. Let's go.
And then I'll say this too as well. So for those of us that know what it is we need to do, the end goal, cool. But you're still on the fence on what to do next. I'm going to say this. Just take the next step. You can't see the end of the road, but you can see what's in front of you. The ground in front
walking
of you.
Through fog. In my episode, Walking Through Fog, because taking that leap of faith is like walking through, especially when you don't got clear instructions.
Right.
It's like you're headed toward, he said, go this direction, but it's foggy. He's like, okay, but keep walking. Trust me. So all you can see is your feet moving forward. You can't see ahead.
It's like the GPS. You follow your GPS. You will go where that thing tells you to go. Get onto the highway, exit here, left here, right here. Why are you putting so much faith in that thing? Because you know the end result is going to get you to the address that you put it to.
Because it's equipped to handle it.
It's equipped to handle it.
You trust it because it's equipped to handle it. It has the mechanisms to see what's ahead. But you can't see what it sees. So you got to trust that mechanism, which to us is God.
Yes.
Who sees all, who knows all. And we got to trust his GP, like he's providing the direction. All he know, he said, in 32 feet, make a left. In 3 miles, you're going to make a right. That's all we know. And we don't know how much more, we trust. It said the ETA. We only know, we can't even give an estimate of the time of arrival because we got to trust him.
You got to trust him. You have to. And I want to leave us with this. So figure out what is it that you're taking that next step towards. And if you're serious about achieving what that next step is, what that goal is, right? Let's say you plan on being at a certain point in your life within the next 6 months, within the next 12 months. This is what I've applied to myself. You have to know this, and this is another writing point down. 6 months, 12 months, whatever it is, know that during this time frame, everything you do is doing one of two things. It's pushing you closer to achieving your goals or further away from it, period.
Wow.
So this thing that you are engaging in right now, what is it doing? Is it pushing you closer to your goals or further away from it? Because it's doing one or the other. Ain't no gray there. It's black or white. Be conscious of whatever it is you're doing in that moment. Is sleeping a little bit later, an hour and a half, does that push you closer to your goal or further away from it? Staying up late, when I'm sleepy and I'm tired and I'm doing extra work for my clients, when I'm look in the mirror and I see my eyes are red and I want to go to bed, I go look at my wife. I go look at my beautiful 8-month-old son, and I see the mouth just hanging open. And I say, you know what? I'm going to give it a little bit of extra juice because I got it. Let me give it 30 more minutes.
Don't get me started about my daughter, Gracie. She's amazing, man.
Beautiful baby girl. Hey, Gracie.
Yeah, Gracie knows I love her, and she is my fuel. Like the lightning bolt, the rocket that I am becoming is fueled by my faith in God, and it's fueled by the love of my daughter. I can go in these last few weeks, she's become the light in the midst of darkness. Because it's been getting dark. Because you're in fog, you don't know, you're taking this leap of faith, and just when I was about to cave in and give up, there she goes and says, "Daddy, you're strong." I was like, "What?" She said, "No, I'm not just talking about physically."
Got chills.
She said, "Daddy, you're strong." Like, she's witnessed me fight for everything these last couple of years, and I've been doing my best to kind of protect her, and I do well. But she's not dumb. She's my seed. Like, she has my DNA. She feels. And she said it. She looked at me and said, "Daddy, I love you. I'm proud of you. You're strong." And that's what keeps me going and taking that extra step. Like, yeah, I'm tired and I'm weary, but and then, I'm losing things, I'm gaining things, whatever. Things are getting quieter, but I'm going to take that extra step because I believe.
You know what I just saw in my mind? When you said you're in the fog and it was getting dark, and you said that reminder, Gracie said, "Daddy, you're strong." That was that extra juice that you need to get back on track. What I'm seeing is, in my eyes, mine, as things were getting dark in the fog, your Gracie, my Jace, my son's name, turn on the bright lights. Just turn on the bright lights. It's right there.
You're right there.
You're right there. So that's what I do. So my bright lights is looking at Jessica and Jace. I keep them saved on the screensaver on my phone. Wow. And I look at it, and I'm whatever it is, I'm upset.
My phone has Gracie on there.
Yeah.
As a father, a single father, divorced man now, I value fatherhood. Like, my daughter has always been my priority, even when I was married and in the rest of my life. And now I noticed the power in, like, all those sacrifices we do. I'm seeing the benefits, like, which is keeping me going. Like, I'm going to keep making the sacrifices for my kid because when she sees that you're sacrificing, she's like, "Listen, I'm not going to waste it. Like, I want, because if my daddy wins, I win."
Yeah. Yeah.
And that falls even with God. Like, he's, you know what I'm saying?
You're right.
He's already the winner, so we guaranteed to win. So the process, we kind of have to endure the process to develop and build character, but we already won, like, because he's already won. You know what I'm saying? And so we inherit the benefit from our Father
right
in heaven. So we got to keep going.
Got to.
We're not going to lose. And so to hear your story of taking that leap of faith from its inception and where it is today, and there's so much more we could talk about as we close, but it's so powerful that how unorthodox, how random it was, and how much of a blessing. It didn't come easy. You sit here in this chair behind that mic with so much knowledge based on the scars, the wounds, all the stuff that you had to, the battle wounds. You fought to get to where you are today.
It didn't kill me.
Listen, it didn't kill you. So I'm so amazed, man, to hear this. I really hope that this has blessed you today, just to hear from Cory. I'll make sure you get his handles on social media and to kind of hear him out, man. This guy is a wealth of inspiration, a wealth of knowledge, wealth of joy, wealth of encouragement. And all you today got is just a glimpse. It's a little bit of what he has to share. If you're in the Dallas area, I would still support JC's, Phillies out there. Would you?
Yeah.
It don't go in your pocket, but it's still your baby, right?
It's still our baby, but we might be more interested in our baby number 2.
Okay. He has a baby number 2. All right. But if you so happen to drive by JC's Phillies, that's their baby. That's where their baby. If you see it. But they got some more stuff coming up, and we'll bring you back to share more about it. But man, today has been special, man. Thank you for just sharing your heart, taking that leap of faith. And I really pray that what you've shared and this conversation we've had is helping someone take their leap of faith.
That's the
now,
only reason
what our journey may be different than yours, but the same step is the same thing. You took that. It's a leap of faith. It's not comfortable. It's not convenient. It's not familiar. It's a leap of faith. And so I hope and pray that what has been shared, we talked about, what was the first point we talked about is like, keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
Quality over quantity.
Yes. Starve the
fear.
Feed
the faith. And we kind of say that out of order.
Right.
But there's a lot of nuggets that we shared as we take this life and take this leap of faith. And so we really pray that this helps you and adds value to you in this journey. And again, please don't forget to subscribe, be a part of my army. This Battle Wounds, I'm building an army of men and women who want to do better in their lives, who want to overcome the things that they're dealing with. Like, we all are battling things, and we need a village. We need an army to support of each other with resources and knowledge and love and compassion and grace to get over to the next side. And so please feel free to join, subscribe, and like and be a part of this journey with Battle Wounds. And again, I'll share the information for Cory, who's on social medias, all his socials. I'll make sure to share on the screen. Please support us. We support you. We hope the best for you in this journey. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Battle Wounds podcast. Thank you so much, Cory, for being a part. My love to Jessica and your baby boy. We love y'all. We support y'all. Thank you so much. Again, I want to share this statement. By now, if you even follow me, I'm going to share you this 3-word statement. Health is wealth. I close each podcast with that. Health is wealth. Not just in your body, but in your mind and in your soul. Health is wealth. I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much for joining this podcast, Battle Wounds. And I'm your host, Amos St. John. And until next time, I'll see you. Have a good one.